How could I call this current events decades ago? Because they're not random. You know, if current events were random, then you couldn't call them. But if there's a plan and you can work your backside off for 30 years to uncover that plan, and you can make it public to anyone who wants to hear, if nothing intervenes in the unfolding of that plan, then you predict the future. The idea is not to predict the future, it's to alert people to what the future is planned to be and then get people to head it off. But unfortunately, things have to get really, really bad and in your face before enough people get to that point where we better do something about this. Or actually, it is real. I fervently hope that I won't go on predicting the future, because the plan that I'm predicting it from will be headed off. But that's down to humanity to take that responsibility. We're now in the midst of a real big advance of that towards the end game, which is a global centralized dystopian dictatorship. It is like a sci-fi movie. Why? Because sci-fi has also, for whatever reason, predicted much of this dystopian technology that's now unfolding. So I'm sure that didn't all come from the imagination either. You've got to be very careful. If any organization or group comes forward and says, you don't have to worry about it, it's all in hand, then you need to be very, very wary of those people. Because, you know, I've been doing this a very long time, and I've seen these groups under different names come and go and say, look, you know, there's a plan, don't worry about it, it's all going to be sorted. Well, it's not going to be sorted unless we sort it. And we have a mathematical dynamic here that shows where the power is. The few can't control the many unless the many acquiesce to the power of the few. And in doing so, give the power of the many to the few in the form of acquiescence. You need to be very, very streetwise about how this works. This cult wants to control all sides so that it can dictate the outcome before the process starts. So if you had a football game, it would want to control both sides and the referee so that you know the score before the game started. This cult and its agents and operatives are very, very insecure because they know that if enough people wake up to it and stop cooperating with it, well, their game's over because they just don't have the numbers. Imagine if the American military in large numbers just realized what was going on and said, we're not doing this, we're not going to impose this on the people. To grasp what's going on, that which is behind this couldn't care less about the chaos and consequences that causes. They want the chaos and consequences. But what they want more than anything else worldwide is to purge all the institutions of those with a mind of their own, those who can see and are prepared to stand up and say, no, I'm not going along with this. This is what's going on. So it's very important in terms of being streetwise to realize that they're trying to control all sides. So be careful of the man of the people who comes out and criticizes what he's fundamentally part of. And I'm talking about Elon Musk. I have shaken my head in recent times when this person of the year has been exalted because he's criticized communism or he's criticized lockdown. It's not what someone says that matters. It's what they do. So let's look at Elon Musk, who is actually a psychopath. Number one, he is running this organization and he is fronting it up. The cult runs these organizations. The cult is running Facebook, not Zuckerberg. So he's fronting up these companies. And number one, SpaceX. What's that doing? All the time, day after day. It's putting up tens of thousands of low-orbit satellites. This is Musk, to fire at the Earth, 5G and other frequencies. He's got Tesla, the electric cars, which is absolutely essential, and he's already doing it, to go on the road to autonomous cars. Now, what are autonomous cars about? Well, first of all, you can't have a computer-driven autonomous car with a petrol engine or a diesel engine. So it has to be electrical. This is why they're being introduced. It's not the end, it's a stepping stone. And so when you get into a petrol car now, or a diesel, you think, okay, where do I want to go? Oh, I'm going to go here. And you drive there. Well, that's not the plan with autonomous cars. The computer is going to be programmed so you can only go where the state wants you to go and not where it doesn't want you to go. Oh, I'm going to drive out here and look at this base. No, you're not. The computer won't take you there. So what are you going to do? Walk? And he is fundamentally part of this. And then he comes out and says that AI could be the end of humanity, brackets true in the sense of humanity that we know it, and then starts a company called Neuralink to connect the human brain to computers. And the idea, and there's people like the Google executive Ray Kurzweil have long been talking about this, to start around 2030 at the latest, and that is to connect the human brain to AI via the, quote, cloud. What is the cloud? It's this technologically generated field for which the low orbit satellites of Musk are fundamental to creating. So please, people, wake up to this guy. He's conning you.